Another edition of After Hours. We got a kind of unique case today. We have, let me tell you accurately what this thing is. It's got to be a Dell Inspiron One 2020. Yes, it's a Dell Inspiron One 2020. Going by the back plate. It's an all-in-one computer. And here's what we have going on. So we've got, this is your typical jack on the motherboard, and I saved you the teardown of it. I guess I should have did that on video. But here's the motherboard. Let me dim that light down some. That's our motherboard, and then we have our DC jack, which was positioned in this spot right here. So we had it there for the DC jack, and it is all broken out, as you can see. So we're going to set our board to the side. Let's take this in quite a bit. Alright, I don't have any of these here. We could order it, but we're going to try something different. We're going to try and make it. We have what the jack should look like, only this is bottom mount instead of back mount. This is bottom mount from a dead laptop motherboard. We're going to try and experiment. They're close enough in their housing shape that we could potentially use this plastic insert with this metal housing that has our pins and pull these pins from the inside of this one and insert into this, because they're very similar on the back. The surface mount has some extra pins here, and the back mount one has an extra pin sticking out the back or two, but all the same shape except for one little spot, which I think will be able to push a knife through to make the hole for the pin, and the rest should go smoothly. So let's try and open this jack up. We will back away a little. Let's see what we can accomplish with this DC jack, if anything. I don't expect anything, but hey, why not try? Try and see if we can do something with it versus nothing. And if we can keep the internal pins as close to the condition they are now, that will help us out in the long run. So with those two opened up, we should be able to start opening the housing up a little. I don't want to bend this too much. We want to keep as much of it intact as possible. There's literally just a back pin. We may have to chop that plastic off there. I'm really thinking we will. This one has no spot to keep anything like that. It doesn't have it. Alright, so we have a blade here. We're going to get down on a sturdier mat. What we need to do is knock off these plastic tabs on each side so we can pull our jack out. I was going to use a hammer, but we may be able to force it through. No, it's being difficult. Let's tap it a little. There's one. And let's go for the other side. We're going to cut this little tab off. And two. Alright, this is our broken plastic. Anyhow, so everything's going to start falling out of there. Okay, so there's the central jack out. Now we need to pull these pins from this part. I know it's not going to work any different, but alright, we have plenty of solder on here. We're going to attempt to not let the weight of this swing it. We're going to heat it up hot. Sadly, I'm under the impression that it's not going to be good enough to do anything, but let's try. Woo! It might be working. Nice. Okay. So we soldered to it and pulled it right out. Finally, we're going to finish this poured up. Okay, so we have to take a look here. We have this piece that we can stick the center pin right in. So we can stick our center pin right in. We can stick in our round one that's going to go back through the other port. And then we have to bring this other ground pin through here, which is going to be tough. We have to bring it through almost in a diagonal fashion, right there. It's not going to be very much that we have to chop through, but we at least have to do some chopping. And this is where we don't want to cut our block. If we do, we just did all this for nothing. So we need to go between these two. It's not going to be very thick, the piece that we need to bring through. So let's try and scratch a hole in here. We have to pull this piece off. There it is. That's our whole piece. And now let's look at the other one that we pulled out. You can definitely tell how they're different. So here's our two. Oh, hold on, I turned it off of autofocus. Let's go back to autofocus continuous. So you can see we have our barrels with the opening. One has the pin sticking up to go, it's a back mount to stick off the back, up off of a motherboard. This one sticks up off of a motherboard, but say we wanted to solder this one here down. Okay, we would set it down that way. This one would set down that way. So it's turned 90 degrees. Alright, so this is the one we want to get rid of. And this is the one we need to keep. We have to make this piece compatible without breaking it. I think what we're going to do is going to sound stupid for right now, but I think it will work. Alright, we need to find our correct orientation. Just the fact that kind of amazed that it's going to work. Like, I've done similar stuff, similar projects in the past, but not to this level. Alright, let's let it heat up, and we're going to chop our hole right through this thing. Alright, so we go there, and we're going to start working these up the edge. We don't want to put a twist in it, but we do want to straighten it. I think we just got that partially. Not to where I like it, but doesn't have quite the banana curve that it did have. So we are fairly close to stock. You agree? I agree. To get them so they're not so close in the center. There's our slight upward pressure. One last one. Where are you? Was it you? Or you? I think it was you. Alright. Now we're going to feed this piece through. Alright, we got the 4 legs in. We need to work them through carefully. They're going to go right out. I don't know if you can see this. They'll go right out slowly. So maybe if I grab this and we can get this to focus. Okay, so you can see there in the center. When I grab this, this pin, yes, you can see there in the center. See those pins moving? We're going to check all the way around in the space to make sure that all the legs are seated right where they need to be. Let's see if we can get in close. Okay. You can see 1, 2, there's only 4 of them, but they're all in the center pin where they need to be. Let's sink this piece down in. We have our central barrel that goes into the pin. We have the outer barrel, the central barrel. Now we need to put our center pin in. I'm not sure which way it goes, but we're going to pretend it goes like that and make it look good, I guess. Like I said, we just made a DC jack. If you don't believe it, well, prove that I didn't. I'm telling you, we just did. We just made a DC jack. Okay, everything still lines up. We're just going to press it back and put it together the same that we were doing with the other one. Just got to lock our little metal tabs in place. It looks a little goofy, but you know what? It is going to work without a doubt. So we have to lock these tabs in place here. That's what will keep it together. And this tab here as well on this side. As long as it don't break off, I'll be happy. Alright, and there you have it. That is our Dell Inspiron One 2020, like I said earlier. So we have our anchor pin, 1, 2, 3, and then we have the hole with the pin in that we cut out right here. We have our center pin, and then our side barrel pin. Everything is held together. It doesn't look bad, doesn't look great. It's not perfect, but it should put power to the system. That's how you make a Dell DC jack. Are you going to let me go at that, or do I actually have to power it up so you can see that it works? Alright, clearly I have to power it up. Just can't believe a guy on merit alone. Like, hey, he might have fixed something once. Work on cleaning these holes out. Alright, let's grab some wick and our iron. Let's do it. Go for it. Let me see. Should we put more on before we take it off? Let's do that. Let's get some puddled up. Well, can't win them all. I'm not going to fight with it. We're going to hit it with hot air. Really should get the bigger iron out. That would aid us in our little venture, but give it a pat real quick. Spray some more IPA on, give it a little rub. I hate using hot air on solder and such and whatnot. Back of the board's still fairly clean, so let's go for the rebuild. This is the nightmare part of this. DC jack is in. It's not 100% perfectly straight, but it is in. It is soldered in. And we're getting out of here. Let's set this guy here. It could be totally broken. Why is it? Oh, it's topsy-turvy because it's missing a feet. In case it's not a foot of the same caliber, I'm going to peel the one off and put it toward the back center. There are two back there, but we're going to throw this one back there for right now. Some more stability, and we got 2 feet of the same caliber up front. This thing will stop rocking and making me think it's going to fall over. Alright. Zoom this guy out and turn the light off. I don't know what that said. It said something. Was it a power failure warning? That's what I'm wondering. Alright, as much as I hate doing it, we're going to power it down. I want to see what it says. We got the Dell splash screen. That was kind of the important part. Maybe it didn't say anything. Keyboard failure. So we got a keyboard plugged in. I'm going to clean up my tools while I talk. We did have a Windows spinner, so it's working on it. As you can see, it does have power. It's not grand or great. It's an older machine. It's got a Pentium in it. But hey, I don't think that much matters as much. Is it a touchscreen? It is. Okay, let me see. If I have a password associated with this thing, that would be great, right? Yeah, no password because they just needed it powered up. All we have is literally bad jack and then our date. Let's go ahead and power this down. We're hitting the power button to power down. Shutting down. You can see it's doing that there. Definitely shutting down. This is totally off the wall. Did I really want to make a DC jack? No, I could have ordered one and avoided the headache, but we made one. We legit made a DC jack. We're powered down, so I'm going to go ahead and put their trim plate on the back of this quick. I'm just going to hold it up and I'm going to set it down on my counter. Go ahead and pop that in, and there you have it. Anyhow, as I was saying, if you know somebody that needs this stuff done and you're the person that knows how to do it, give them a hand, make their device awesome, make it great again, make it work again, save it from the landfill, as I always say. You know, give something old again, new life. The newer, bigger, better, faster, more, always current lifestyle that's been adopted. Yeah, it's cool, but come on now. Let's keep some of these other ones from the scrap heap, you know? Anyhow, like, share, subscribe, do what you will. This is another successful one. We made a flippin' DC jack. Are you even kidding me? We made a DC jack. I'm going to head home now. It is super late. Thank you for watching. As always, thanks for clicking the link, coming over and hanging out with me. We started in open hours. I think ending in after hours, we'll keep it published there. But seriously, we made a DC jack. So, not the hardest thing to do, not the easiest. See you in the next one.